Greetings and welcome to another edition of Political Empire. I'm your host, Kim Pearsall with the Press Enterprise and PE.com. And we're going to give you an all San Bernardino bankruptcy update today. First from our correspondent, Imran Gori, who covers the city of San Bernardino. And next from our columnist, Cassie McDuff, who's going to give us a little bit of commentary about what's been going on between two very divisive sides within the city's political realm. First, a little update on what's going on with the city of San Bernardino's bankruptcy. They've gone through two marathon meetings now with their city council to try and come up with some kind of austerity plan that will keep them going financially in the short term while they go through bankruptcy. Here joining us is Imran Gori. Imran, thanks so much for being here with us today to talk to us about what is going on in the city of San Bernardino. You spent yesterday at an all-night evening emergency session, essentially. It was a special meeting, started at about 3 p.m., ended at after 1 a.m.,
close to 1 a.m.
Right, and that was the second meeting that's lasted into well into midnight and so forth, all to discuss this pre-pendency plan that the bankruptcy court needs that basically outlines how they're going to function in the short term. Is that right?
Right. This pre-pendency plan would impose pretty steep budget cuts, about $22.4 million. They have a $45.8 million budget deficit, so this only gets them part of the way through, but so far they're having trouble agreeing on the plan.
And what has been the holdup?
The main issue is over cuts to public safety, namely with the fire department, where the department has proposed instituting what they call rolling brownouts, where 3 of the lowest call fire stations would be closed about 10 days per month.
Okay. And so far they haven't come up to an agreement on this yet. There's another special meeting today. Any expectation for what's supposed to happen at today's meeting?
Well, I guess the question is whether the two sides could come to some kind of compromise. There were some attempts last night to do so, but both sides remain pretty hardened in their positions. We'll see today if that changes. And
has there been any discussion at the council level at these meetings about what happens if they don't pass this anytime soon?
Well, the city manager says they're, every day that they don't have the plan, it costs the city $125,000, or it increases their deficit by that amount. Essentially, they have to, put together a plan that needs to be approved by the bankruptcy court, if they don't, so the decision might be taken out of their hands, I guess.
True. Well, we'll keep folks updated on what's going on. Thanks so much, Imran, for keeping us posted on what's going on. And it does seem like a fluid situation. We're going to be right back with Cassie McDuff, who's going to talk to us a little bit about the infighting that's been happening and perhaps the reason why there's been this stalemate of sorts in terms of planning or passing this pre-pendency plan. We're back to talk a little bit more about the divisive situation politically going on in the city of San Bernardino. It seemed like for a very short time, the two sides were actually going to get along. And here to talk to us a bit more about what's been going on in the city is our columnist, Cassie McDuff. Cassie, thanks so much for joining us today. It wasn't an official peace treaty, but it seemed like for a while there may be peace of sorts between these two very different sides in the city of San Bernardino. What happened?
Well, certainly, Kim, I think what happened was people got the impression there was going to be sort of a truce or a ceasefire between the two sides because the mayor and the city attorney right from the start were on the same page. They both agreed that bankruptcy was inevitable. It was the only way for the city to get out of this impasse with the budget. However, it became apparent very quickly that the council was not going to be able to get along. As Imran pointed out, the dividing line seems to be the fire department budget. And last night, city employee kind of called it the way a lot of people believe things are divided. Several of the council members who want to impose a union-based plan for cutting the fire department budget instead of the fire chief's plan have received a lot of support from the firefighters union, and this employee said basically they are beholden to them and that's why they're coming up with this budget. Now, one of the members, although he said that he did receive about $90,000 for his election, he was insulted that he would be accused of being beholden to the firefighters union. But it just seems to have dug the divide between the two sides even more deeply. And even when one council member at the very end of the meeting, this is 12:30 in the morning by now, suggested passing the pre-pendency bankruptcy plan with the exception of the fire department, they wouldn't even agree on that.
Well, and like you mentioned, it's clearly divisive. There's essentially 4 members on one side, 3 members on the other side. And even last night, late into the evening, if I recall correctly, there was a vote 4-3, but then Mayor Morris came in and vetoed that decision. So there is a stalemate. There was a stalemate before. There's a stalemate now. Any optimism that today's special meeting, which could go into the wee hours again, is going to produce anything besides a stalemate based on what you've seen so far?
Well, I don't think anybody does their best work at 12:30 in the morning after an 11-hour meeting, and that's what this council was trying to do. I hope everybody got a good night's sleep, and I hope that cooler heads prevail today and that they're able to realize that it's important to move on, at least agree on part of the pre-pendency plan, work out their differences on the rest of the plan as they can.
Well, Cassie, thanks so much for joining us today. I know you're going to be heading to that meeting, or at least watching it, and thanks for your insight. Hopefully we'll bring you back to talk a little bit about this after they voted, if they do pass a plan. So thank you for joining us for another edition of Political Empire. We'll keep you posted on all the latest happenings going on in the city of San Bernardino and throughout all of the Inland Empire.